Hello and welcome to Knife Delights. On the table today, we got us a special knife here. We have a model 1760. That's the Camillus utility knife. We'll look at this box here real quick. Made in USA, Camillus quality knives. That's what the side panel looks like. Same there. Camillus cutlery. And here we go. 4B, I'm assuming that's a 4-bladed utility camp boxed. And it is model 1760. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to say I had a hard time trying to figure out how to review this knife. As you know, when it comes to knives that were purported to be issued by the military or used by the military, there's always a lot of lore surrounding them. There's a lot of myth. And so to try to get through all of the fog and come up with accurate information was rather difficult. So I want to highly stress, do your own research. I'm just going to try to touch on some basics here because I tried to do an in-depth research on it and it just got so confusing and I didn't know what information to trust and what not to trust. So we'll try to go forward with that in mind. So one of the first questions I had was, who was the first one to make this style of knife? When was it first made? And a lot of the information comes back that a company by the name of Kingston first came out with this type of knife in the World War II time frame, 43 or 44, somewhere in there. And there were other government contracts put out. Now, I'm getting conflicting information because I'm hearing, or one place I read, it said that Camillus started making these in 1958, around 1958, and they were made until around 2007. However, in my old Camillus records that I found, I see a very similar knife to this, only it has USA on it, but it is the checkered. And it shows that in 1943 they started making them. And they made them in 43, 44, and 45. And then there was a whole bunch of subcontracted knives made. But again, some of the information that I get is the company called Kingston was the first one to come out with them. And they had U.S. Marine Corps on them. Another bit of information I had was that Camillus started making these in 48 for issue. Now, maybe it was a slightly different model than what this 1760 is. And that's what gets confusing is because there was all kinds of different utility knives made for the different service branches and that. And they all might have had different model numbers to them. I don't know. But another thing that I ran across was this was often called the demo knife. And one source said that the model 1760 was the Army version of the demo knife. So once again, why was it called the demo knife? Well, according to one comment left on a bulletin board from a former Army engineer, he said that it was called the demo knife because it was issued with demolition sets. On another website, I found that this basic style of knife, and I don't know if it's this exact model, but one like this came with a belt sheath, and this was down in the top of it, and then down below it was a pair of wire cutters. So some of these may have been issued as part of a set like that also. I do know that this knife, not only being made for the military, it was made for the civilian market also, and I have a sample of that from a 1978 Camillus catalog. So let's get into the knife itself. Oh, before I forget, so we saw the box. This came with the paperwork also. And I want to mention, I bought this knife at a pawn shop in Illinois, and that was on that great outing that I had with Sarah and Jerry and Byron. Yeah, we had a load of fun that day. And this is one of the two knives that I bought that day. Another little bit that I found out about this knife was they have a reputation for having very brittle back springs. As a matter of fact, it's highly recommended that you don't open this one up and then open this one up that's on the same spring, because it can break the back spring. And I do know that I saw at least one, and I'm thinking maybe two of these I saw on eBay, and they both had broken back springs. And I know the Knife Doctor did a video on replacing one of the back springs. So that's why I'm not going to open up all the blades all at once, because I don't want to break a back spring. But here's our can opener. Pretty standard. And then here is your cap lifter and screwdriver blade. Again, pretty standard. Our main blade here, and nice spare point blade. And what's interesting is the year of manufacture is stamped on the main blade. So these make handy knives if you're looking to get a knife for someone with their date of birth on it. If you were born in 2004, well, you can look for a 2004 version of it. Of course, that's only going to work from like 1958 to 2007 or so. And then we do have the easy open there, the opening notch. And there is your awl or your punch. One thing I've noticed on this is this extra large bail here. Look at that big bail. And I know on the old Kingston model, it had Kingston stamped into the bail there. A very interesting knife. Now, once again, they were made for the civilian market, and it's kind of interesting because in the 78 Camillus catalog, they call it the S1760 Kemp knife. And it's a 3 5/8 inch closed embossed stainless steel handle, stamped US. As we can see, stainless steel spear blade, can opener, punch, screwdriver, cap lifter, and shackle is what they call this, and made to government specification MILK 818C. So yeah. So I'm assuming this one was just made for the civilian market. Now, I have done a video on a couple other utility knives that I have. One was made for the Navy, and the other one was called the Army Engineer knife, and it's basically the same pattern, only they would have bone inlays. And I'll provide a link to that video down below. So what do you think? Isn't this a pretty classic knife? And I was very fortunate to find it new in... Oops, don't open them both at the same time. Do not want to break that back spring. Oh, one other thing I'll point out. This is all stainless steel. I know there are some versions that may have been made with some brass liners, but this one's all stainless steel. So, there you have it. There's my quick down and dirty. If you have any further information on this knife, please let me know down in the comments below. Again, I just kind of went over generalities because I don't want to, give out some false information about this knife. So, until next time, have a very delightful day.